Had a great question yesterday on the YouTube channel, and it's a question I get a lot, which is Excel dying? Is Excel going to die? Now, my answer to this question, which might be kind of obvious, is that I think quite the opposite. It seems to be quite a fashionable view these days that Excel is, people are using other things, or Excel isn't doing the job. My view is predictable, maybe. I take the opposite view to that. I see more and more people using Excel, and I see more and more people appreciating the possibilities of what can be done in Excel if it's used in the right way. If people use all of Excel's functionality, if people use a bit of VBA code, if people set spreadsheets up in the right way. So I think the view is very positive for Excel. In the next few videos, I'm going to deal with some reasons why people think Excel is dying and kind of my take on this. But what do you think? Is Excel dying? Let me know. Now, we're talking about some reasons why people say Excel is dying, and I'm just giving my opinion on the reason. Now, one reason is there's better pieces of software now, better pieces of software to use. And I've used some other pieces of software that are very good, and there's probably some good pieces of software out there. But as always, we've got to look at the bigger picture. How does the kind of productivity software industry actually work? Well, it's dominated by one player, which is Microsoft. And Microsoft has very established distribution channels, good relationships with big companies. There will be massive switching costs anyway for big companies to switch to a different piece of software, to go outside of the Office environment. So whatever we think of Excel, obviously I think it's great, but whatever we think of Excel, the dynamics of the industry mean it's here to stay for some time. What do you think? I'll see you in the next video. Now, is Excel dying? That's what we're discussing at the moment. I'm doing a few videos on this subject. Now, clearly for me, I don't want Excel to die. I've got a little company that does spreadsheets, Excel consultancy. I've got a YouTube channel that does videos mainly on Excel, VBA, stuff to do with Excel. Clearly, it's in my interest that Excel doesn't die. But the point of this video is, what I just did was I declared an interest in the discussion. I told you what my perspective is. What I want you to know is that not everybody's doing that. When people are criticizing Excel, often they've got an agenda. They've got an ulterior motive. They want to promote their software. So it's in their interest to point out all the bad things about Excel. So to really have a constructive discussion about this, people have got to declare their interest. I've declared mine. Make sure when you're reading critiques of Excel, you're understanding their perspective. Good luck. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this content, I do a daily video on Instagram and Facebook under the hashtag YourDailyTiger. I'll see you there. Let's get back into it. Now, we're talking about whether Excel is going to die. And as you can tell from my tone in these videos, I feel quite passionately about this. And what I want to say is, people presenting alternatives to Excel, these are usually, often anyway, expensive pieces of software, and you have to be quite kind of privileged, in a privileged position, to even have access to these pieces of software. It's all very well if you're working in a big corporation in London, and I'm not hating on that, lots of my friends do that. If you're working in a big corporation in London, you're like, oh, we can use this other piece of software, but that's quite a kind of, I'd say, kind of Western centric view of the problem. What about like the woman who's starting a little chain of shops in Brazil, or somebody in Africa who wants to do something for their farm or something like that? For them, Microsoft Office is a good and fairly cheap solution to their data analysis issues. Now, I'm still talking about why I don't think Excel is going to die. Probably see the chip on my shoulder there when I'm talking about this one. But another reason that I think Excel is here for a while is there's a huge range of functionality. There's a powerful coding language that sits behind it, and people, in my view, judging from my YouTube channel engagement and things like that, people in my view are getting more value out of Excel. I've been working on Excel projects for 10 years or more. Most people are using 5 to 10% of Excel's functionality. So often when people are frustrated with Excel, they say, oh, Excel's not good, we can't do this. Almost always, there's a problem with the way that person is using Excel. That's not their fault. There's very little good Excel training out there. But I see more and more people through things such as YouTube getting more and more value out of Excel, realizing how powerful it is with its full range of functionality. That's why I think it's here to stay. Now, another reason Excel is here to stay, in my view, is the programming language, Excel VBA. And as usual, I'll declare my interest here. I have a YouTube channel about Excel VBA. So, I'm probably going to tell you the benefits of Excel VBA, though you'll see in my videos, I tell you about the drawbacks as well. But what's so good about Excel VBA? Now, I'm a bit of a one-trick pony. I only really know Excel VBA, although I have dabbled in some other languages. But what's great about Excel VBA is people can understand it. It's not just the preserve of computer programmers, because it sits behind a piece of software that most people have, most people understand, most people can use a little bit. Excel, because it sits behind Excel, people can understand the programming language. It's like they've got a canvas to use the programming language, so it demystifies things. So for me, I'm a computer programmer, not like most computer programs, but it's really good news that VBA is there because it allows people to understand computer coding. Now, is Excel going to die? We're still talking about this topic. Now, one reason I think it's going to be around for a while, another reason is I think Microsoft and other spreadsheet companies are dealing with the threats pretty well, responding to the threats pretty well. Microsoft, for example, and I'm not, eulogizing about Microsoft, there's strengths and weaknesses to the company, but they're trying to improve the platform. The two main problems with Excel are it doesn't handle large data sets very well, and it's not great for remote working. But we're seeing improvements there. Excel is improving, particularly with the 365 model, where you can download the latest version very easily, or it's automatically downloaded to your system. We're seeing Excel improving incrementally and more often than it used to, and it's getting better with those larger data sets. We're also seeing better remote working options. So this is why I think Excel is here to stay. It's dealing with its weaknesses and gradually improving over time.